XRP, XLM, ICP, which crypto has fared the best since the ETF launch? I think we got to start taking a fresh look at the market now that we have ETF products in play, along with some token resiliency. We're also going to talk about two big firms announcing layoffs. That's right. The projections for 2024 are here, and the actions are now here. Major companies out there are saying that 2024 is not going to be a good one. They're starting the layoffs early this year. Got an amazing show today, so let's get into it. This is what it feels like being a crypto player, doesn't it, everyone? Loving the memes. Jeremy Touche supports the channel. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Says they're going to end up running Ripple out of the country. Why can't they leave it alone? For real, the SEC wants 2022 and 2023 full audited financial statements. They're going to be going after the juggler when it comes to primary sales penalty. Jerry helps us it again and says, hey, Klaus, I know you mostly talk about the X coins. Would you consider an in-depth look at a few of the coins? Sol, ICP, Link, etc. I would personally love to hear your thoughts on some of these. Got your back. Because that's what we're going to do this video. We're going to take a fresh look at the market since the ETF goodiness has been dumped. Johnny JB says, your energy seems low off this morning. Are you okay, brother? Dude, I had 3 hard workout sessions yesterday, and I had 2 of them today. I'm just a little tired because I'm getting ready for race season. Bitcoin sitting at 39,944. Let's get back to 40,000, homegirl. ETH 2222, like it, deuces across the board. XRP 51.5, Sol 86.98. Can Sol get back to that 90? ICP holding strong here in the last day. Look at this, up 11% in the last 24 hours. Tau is another one there, up 21%. Maker up 9.75. XLM up 2.23 at 11.2. XRP up 1.1 in the last 24. Like I said, we got to take a fresher look. Okay, so one of the tools that I'm using is this ticker symbol GBTC. You notice how the market rebounded, and you notice how GBTC is rebounding price-wise? Yes, girlfriend, exactly. Start using some of these new tools out there to see if the market's trending along. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Bad news for you. Mt. Gox. Ugh. Payouts ranging between 142,000 and 200,000 BTC are going to start here soon. What they're doing is they're verifying addresses before the disbursement. This is not good because that is a massive amount of BTC. We're going to wait till we get more details to really kind of digest it, because I got to be honest with you, if they do it in waves, we're okay, blah, blah, blah. The big problem is this, though. 200,000 BTC being put on the market. This stuff has been locked up for years. Everyone's all freaked out right now. I'm wondering how many of these people are going to receive it and then liquidate it. Chalk one up for the winners out there. Yep, I saw the freedom protest. I was there in DC when they blocked the convoy. It was crazy. It sucked, man. Canadian court declares crypto protest freeze unconstitutional. Ooh, Mr. Trudeau, I've got an announcement for you. Suck my balls. Guess what? The court stepped in and said, Trudeau, you're a scumbag. According to Justice Richard Mosley, the protest did not qualify as a national emergency, and therefore the use of the Emergencies Act was unconstitutional. Overreaching of powers, you scumbag. And for my Canadian viewers out there, I know how the majority of you watching think Trudeau is just the biggest pile of shit, and yes, he is. So go fuck yourself, you scumbag Trudeau. How's that for energy levels? I kind of got it back. I took a nap. I'm pretty good. There was no national emergency justifying the invocation of the Emergencies Act, and the decision to do so was unreasonable. The emergency powers are necessary in extreme circumstances, but they are also dangerous to democracy, just like CBDCs. Don't think that any government out there that releases CBDCs isn't going to be tracking you or controlling you with that shit in the future. Be very careful what you wish for. They should be used sparingly and carefully. They cannot be used to address a massive and disruptive demonstration that could have been dealt with through regular policing and laws. Yep, that's from the courts. Thank God we got the courts, because our government and leadership is just fucking disaster. And there it is. Things are starting to get spicy. What an advertisement for Bitcoin. Yeah, this is when the Canadian government was like, we're going to take your crypto. Fuck off, government. Fintech firm Brex cuts its workforce by 20%. I actually have quite a few friends that are still in the corporate world. And I talk to them fairly often, and I'll be honest with you. They're all telling me the same thing. Their expectations, their projections for 2024 for revenue is not good. Everyone is expecting a pretty rough year. And I've got friends in a couple different industries, and they're all saying about the same thing. Their timelines are a little different, but they're all basically saying, look, 2024 going to be a shitty year. They're doing layoffs. Brex, the fintech startup, once valued at $12.3 billion, has recently undergone significant changes, like getting rid of a load of people. 282 people, constituting about 20% of its staff. Why? This move comes as part of the company's efforts to pivot towards a more sustainable and profitable future. Why aren't they profitable? Dude, volume isn't there. Crypto isn't as big and as juicy as people thought it was. Riot Games now cuts 350 jobs as it shuts down its publishing arm. So, let's learn even more. Layoffs are approximately 11% of its workforce. The decision revealed by the Tencent-owned company also encompasses the discontinuation of Riot Forge. Oh, I have to talk to my son about that, because okay, yeah, my son's really big into Riot Games. So, yeah, but this is another one, okay? Look, companies are going to do what they got to do to survive. When you're seeing layoffs like this, it's telling you right now that they are expecting things on the top line, which is revenue, to be bad. So they start cutting their expenses, so they bring profitability at the end. Now, let's talk about XRP, XLM. Let's talk about our favorite cryptos out there. But let's take a fresh look. All right, heat map, 1 day. You can obviously see there's certain winners here and certain losers here in the 1 day. Some have fared better than others. But let's zoom out and let's look at the 90 day, okay? So I've got the ones up here on market cap by 90 day, and some of the things that stands out to me is in the 90 day, even after all this correction, Bitcoin is up still 16%, ETH up 23, BNB 31, Solana 173. But look at this, XRP in the last 90 days down 6.6%. Scroll down to the next one, don't count DAI, because that's stable action. You got Litecoin down slightly, Bitcoin Cash, and then you start getting to Stellar, which is basically equal over here the last 90 days. But look at the majority of these big winners. Injective, 176. Uniswap, 41%. ICP, 221%. So we got to start looking at, is the market now is different that we've added, what, everyone? BTC ETFs to the mix, because we know paper money can be used to control native assets. Look at the gold and silver market with the ETFs. So now we're going to have to start looking at this with new information. Imagine this, right? Imagine what we're doing. We're like investigating a crime scene, right? And we're looking for suspects. And the suspects here are our crypto plays, okay? Now, long time ago, we're looking at a couple suspects and we're like, hey, this one and this one looks good, right? Well, now that we've got new evidence, BTC ETF action, and new data, new indicators, right? We can now start looking at new suspects because the data is telling us to do so. So this is the 90 day. Now look what happens when I blow it up by your biggest winners here over the last 90 days. In your last 90 days, Bonk is up nearly 2,000%. Ordinals 945%. Celestia 655. Say 482. This is nuts. IRS ICP 221. Avalanche 184. Look at all of these big winners at 100%. Look at that. Optimism. Caspa, I know I got Caspa fans in the house. I know I got ARB fans in the house too. Up 80%. Look at this. Look at all these winners in the last 90 days. And that's what we got to do, everyone. We got to start looking at this market every so often with a fresh set of eyes and say, you know what? Okay, I know the information that was put out years ago. I know the information that was put out last year. I know the information that was put out last month. I know the information that's put out today. Let's take a fresh look and see where the winners are. Pivot the tables so you could see who is juicy over these last 90 days. Now, what about during this ETF meltdown, okay? So, this was GBTC up on the screen. Purple arrow represents when the ETF action was launched. As you can see, it's been a piece of poop since. Klaus, you're being negative? No. Price action going down is negative. Price action going up is positive. That's just how this works, okay? So, been using this indicator, and I wanted to see now, over the last 7 days, who are it, right? Or who is it? Man, that's the best way to say it. Look at this. Last 7 days since the ETF. BTC down 6%, ETH 12, XRP 9, Sol 13, okay? Cardano 10, Avalanche 15. Now let's pivot the data and see who fared the best during this ETF action. right? Because while a lot of people were sitting here being told, oh, we're going to moon, we're going to moon, we're going to moon, a lot of these on this list were not getting any attention at all. Now, what's very interesting, though, is there's not many winners on this list for this last 7 days. Let's look at them. Manta, last 7 days, up 37%. Ronin, up 17. Frax, 12. Scicoin, 3.35. Then we start getting into the negatives. Now, if we pivot it one more time here and go to some of the worst, right? Who has performed the worst since the BTC ETF action? Satis, you got down 30%. You got Ordi, you got, Ric Flair. Thank God I didn't touch that with the 10-foot pole. Bonk down 19 in the last. You got Optimism down 18 in the last 7. Algorand down 15. Avalanche down 15. So what we got to do is we got to take a look at the data and see what it tells us. We have to look at other firms out there that are announcing cuts. We have to look at other parts of the market announcing cuts as well. Then we have to start applying that to the cryptos that are doing good over the last 90 days. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Everyone that talks about, oh, what happened in the 2018, 2017, oh, the 2021 run, that's old news in crypto, and it's a whole different market. We've got different regs across the globe since that time period. Monetary conditions are so different than a couple years ago. So you can't look at all this data the same. That's why you have to break it down in concentrated time frames. And like I said, over the last 90 days, who are your big winners? You're seeing some big ones out there. Avalanche, Solana, some of these out there that were told that they were dead are now pumping big time and holding their value very strong. Especially when we start looking at, well, wait a minute now, who were the strongest over the last 7 days with the ETF meltdown? Now, the reason I'm taking such a zoomed in approach to the market is actually pretty easy. It has to do with the amount of over-promising and under-delivering that's been happening. I don't want to hear shit about Stellar and IBM and how it's going to moon stuff. I don't want to hear crap about XRP and Visa or Amazon and stories that were years and years old. No, I want to focus on recent stuff. Why? Because the crypto market moves freakishly fast. Seriously, 2 years ago, when money printer go burr, when everything was cheap, when gas was cheap, when food was cheap, when housing was cheaper, it was still expensive. People were able to buy a lot of crypto. When the economies were juicy, we could buy a lot of crypto. But then as prices go up, you notice the market went down. So we're not in the same economic atmosphere. So why would we look at everything the same? We can't. We have to look at it relative to the time, relative to the performance, and relative to the news. BTC ETF ushered in a new era of news, a new era of people playing the markets, okay? A new era of how we're using the data. We can use ETF data. We can use perpetual futures. You can use a whole bunch of stuff. As new evidence comes along, you have to look at that new evidence. You have to look at the new technology that you have to analyze that evidence to make the choices that are best for you. The best advice that I can give is just take a fresh look at stuff. If you've been doing the same thing for a few years, hey, maybe that's good with you, but it never hurts to zoom out a little bit. Take a look with fresh eyes and go, hey, what is really happening in the market as of late? And be very careful out there for all those, oh, we're going to the moon, the prices are melting faces, because boy, oh boy, oh boy. All those videos about people saying prices melting faces, but then when I check on the heat map, oh, that's not melting faces. Well, it is if you're too close to the sun, and the sun means you're, like, going down. So, yeah, whatever. But seriously, just zoom in a little bit. Keep your ears open. ICP looks very juicy. Sol, by the way, looks better. Why? Because now that they're out of the whole FTX grasp, which a lot of us were worried about, we're like, oh my God, FTX is just going to pound Sol. It looks like Sol was able to survive the FTX disaster. So there are some winners out there. There are some losers out there. Just make sure, though, that you look at the data, all right? Look at the data, get a bunch of it, and remember, we're always getting new information. We're always getting new technology. So make sure that you apply that news to recent times, because I'm telling you, we ain't in the crypto market that we were in 2017 and 2018 when things went boom in the ICO boom. And we sure as hell ain't in the market where we were in 2020, 21, and early 2022 when things were much cheaper in the world. You can't look at it all the same way you're comparing apples to oranges. Let me know in your comments below who your big picks are for 2024. Me, I've got some recovery stuff to do today. Yes, I did 2 tough sessions, 3 yesterday. Last man standing here is in about 6.5 weeks, and oh my gosh, I'm not even close to being ready. I'll catch you cool cats later. This guy's gonna stretch.